Day 100 did not have those clothes on. Here Daniel is being asked. He's shown a picture here. Did Jack and Lily have these clothes on by any chance? So, the issue, what they were wearing, is absolutely crucial. Whenever you have a new statement and you're not sure where to begin, now, the further you get ahead in your studies, the more. Oh, yeah, I'm going to put this in the member section. So, uh, the further you get in your study and the further you get to have practical experience, you won't necessarily need to use a system in terms of doing it, by checklist. I always say the best thing, even if you have 100 people study the exact same material, there will always be people who intuitively get straight to the most important part. And but this is something that I usually have up for me also to look at. Priorities. If somebody calls 911 and says, I just got home and my wife is lying dead on the floor, his priority, the first thing he talked about, I just got home. The priority is to establish an alibi. I wasn't here when it happened. And one of the most important things is a first impression. And wanting to leave a certain first impression can completely push the listener into a wrong direction. Before I tell you anything else, you need to know I had nothing to do with it. And if you came home from work, you've been there all day, and you just got home, you wouldn't feel the need to say that because you are home already. There's nothing significant about your journey home. But the fact that that is more important for you to say, because you say it before you tell police or actually what actually had happened, why you are calling. Makes it a highly sensitive area. Anytime something is not expected and doesn't flow properly, it's important for us to take note of. Leakage. Leakage is Daniel talking about muddy waters being brown, Lily's backpack being brown. That's leakage right there. He's talking about something that he saw. It indicates to me that wherever he gotten rid of Jack and Lily, there was muddy water. So muddy it was brown colored. Avoidances and distancing. Distancing can be linguistic, of course. Always mentioning Jack and Lily last. Who was out to dinner? Everybody. Oh, and by the way, Jack and Lily too. Both Daniel and Janie always add Jack and Lily, but last. But avoidance, the big time avoidance part, is whenever Daniel and Chris Proudfoot keep telling us, police told me I cannot talk about it, which is bogus. Police had never told Belinda about anything that they told her, don't talk about it. Not once. If police don't want you to talk about it, they're not going to tell you. They told her a few times, listen, this area, we are not allowed to tell you about this. We can't. When we saw the messages between Belinda and Malaya, Belinda asked, did they have their coats on? And she said no. And Belinda said, oh my God, they must be so cold. Now, that was the day before Malaya gave her only interview. Remember when she talked about, I hope they feel warm. The people who are guilty with guilty knowledge, who don't really want to speak and are scared they're going to trip up, oftentimes copy the person who is an innocent parent or grandparent because they model themselves after them in terms of saying, this is what I should be react. This is how I should react. These are the kind of things that I should say that would come natural to me if I didn't have to cover up something here. And then she immediately says, after Belinda said, they must be so cold, she said, I just want to find them, or I just want them home. Something like that. Something very general. Something very unemotional. And Sunny from Crime and Shame said, oh, I think that that doesn't make any sense. I think I put together the messages incorrectly. Nope, turns out she did not. I knew she didn't. That is major avoidance. She interrupts the flow. Sometimes people interrupt the flow within a sentence. They're starting to tell you something that they don't really want to get into, and within the same sentence, they go and start a different area, maybe ask a question that has nothing to do with it, anything to get you off a topic. When you recognize avoidance, stick with that area, whatever they're talking about. And that was why I said from the beginning, this is very important about the coats. The clothing, what they had on is so crucial, because what they had on, it would make it impossible for them to go out at less than 40 Fahrenheit, 3 Celsius. It was very cold. Yes, I understand. Canadian kids sometimes go out without shoes. And I guess, according to some of you, I don't know, not at that temperature, right? Yes, I understand people up there in the frozen north are a little more hardened and they don't, you know, not like California kids who, or anybody living in a more a warmer climate. Yes, but the thing is that they would have not been out playing in whatever they had on to go to sleep, which is probably shorts and a shirt. Pajamas, I don't think they had pajamas on. I think that took too much work for, maybe it took too much work for Malaya and Daniel. Honestly, I think that whatever they had on usually, take off your coats, take off your sweaters. Okay, that shirt and whatever, underwear or shorts or boxers or whatever they had, go to bed like that. I don't care. Maybe Lily put on maybe she had a night shirt on, or I don't know. But I don't think they had, too much. They put too much effort into the kids in general. Not looking, not considering that there were recyclables all over the house. It looked like a junkyard. Belinda said that kitchen looked like a damn junkyard. Yet the shed in the back was completely empty. Right. So that's avoidance. Leakage can indicate what happened. And leakage includes also embedded confessions. So I am making sure these two get included. And I've talked about embedded confessions. Embedded confessions have shown me exactly what happened to John Benet Ramsey. Embedded confessions from one embedded confession from John Ramsey. And on Peter Hyde's channel, you can always listen to his interview with Richard Hall, where he talked about Jerry McCain and the embedded confession that he left. And they are real, they are very real. I'm not going to get too much into it now. But there's a video of mine about embedded confessions. McCain's, Christopher Proudfoot, and John Ramsey. Now, intentions, we tread carefully there. Let it come to us. Don't force yourself to identify intentions too quickly. But when Jada, Katie Proudfoot's cousin, brings up money, not having any expensive surgery or expensive lawyer fees or anything like that, then, well, little by little, you can allow their words to guide you. And you can ask yourself, well, why is she trying to insert herself into the case? What does she want? People give away their intentions. Sometimes you can only sense it, but little by little you can also identify it. And intention detection is something that I will get more into with you. Now, deception, of course, deceptive statements are important. It's important to tell when somebody is telling you a lie and say, okay, what this guy just told you, it's actually the opposite. And I think I've talked about this a lot. I think I've been and deception detection is not the end all be all. Yes, it points out important sensitive areas. And from there, even though we know there's the lie, the truth is there's always embedded truth. There's always leakage. That is more important than that, in my opinion. And once the intentions come clear and they form in your mind and you realize this is why he's giving an interview. For example, Daniel saying, I'm not here for damage control. Yes, you just told me exactly why you're here. I'm not here to lie. Janie. Oh my God. Really? That's exactly why you are there. So sensitive areas is a broad spectrum. Sensitivities, very. And you can argue that avoidances, for example, are sensitive. But sensitivities cover anything else. And again, I have to talk about the case of Sebastian Rogers. Many have noticed when Katie Proudfoot talked about the event of the day on Sunday, before Sebastian, let me say, vanished. I say that, of course, very, very loosely. Without going into detail, what I told already, talked about what happened. She talked about food the whole time. She always talks about food. And both Chris and Katie said he gets overstimulated, even rambunctious. So when somebody speaks badly about a missing child, even Oren and Orson West, the father saying they are rambunctious. These two little boys are missing, supposedly, out in the wilderness, alone, cold, hungry, scared. And he talks about them being, they're gonna be rambunctious if you find them. When they talk badly about a missing person, they're telling you exactly why, in their opinion, from their point of view, these people went missing. They're telling you what they have done to deserve what happened to them. There is no other reason. So when we hear that and then combine it with something that doesn't make sense, sensitivity, sense. If something that you hear doesn't make any sense to you, do not move on. When somebody starts a sentence one way and ends it in a completely different way, there's a huge chance they stop themselves for a reason, because they have just entered a very sensitive area. Chris Proudfoot talking about we have a room upstairs that's never, and I can tell you what he was going to say, that's never going to be used again. And then he moves to the past. That's never not been slept in, or something like that. It made no sense. If something doesn't flow, when you get to that point, or you probably are at that point, and some people are immediately at that point. They read something. I'm like that. When something sticks out to me, I allow myself to stay right there. The sensitive part about food during the day is that Sebastian got, in my opinion, overstimulated. Remember, there was that moment also, he was going to take one of those free rolls in the restaurant, and she looked at him and signaled him, and he took his hand away, scared of the person who's supposed to love him, because if he eats too much, I guess he had an overload of carbohydrates anyways, right? And sugar, colossal popcorn, and spaghetti pancakes. He didn't eat too much, he just ate the wrong crap. He loved salmon, right? Yeah, then that's what he needs. People, our our bodies know what's good for us, as long as the food is fresh and natural. As long as what we crave are not artificial flavors. Let's say it like that. But that's beside the point. Yet I keep bringing up certain topics because Sebastian had a very hard time sleeping. Every day he had sleeping problems, Chris told us. Oh, except that one day, right? Except that one crucial night. He was on medication to go to sleep. Unless he had a rough day playing, Chris said. Yes, children need to play, children need to have activities. That includes adolescence. Not stand around all day long eating colossal popcorn with mommy, Chris's sisters, and a bunch of little girls that are their daughters. That's not. Oh my God! As a 15-year-old, I would have gone nuts, man. I would have I would have walked to my friend's house, even if it's 2 miles. I would have been like, what the hell is this? What kind of day is this for me? They talked about how Sebastian loved to run, loved to swim, but they didn't take him to swim competition, swimming training, or they didn't go running with him, or they didn't sign him up. I mean, he had no activity at home. Absolutely horrible life, man. But the sensitivity part leads us towards sleep aid, which also there was an avoidance by Chris. He claims he's not able to talk about that, what he took that night, what he was given. He takes medication daily and nightly, but that night, ooh, can't talk about it, sorry. Major avoidance. So, what Katie Proudfoot is telling us, in my opinion, why did she have to give him too much sleep aid that night? That is the excuse for it. So when you ask yourself, why does she keep talking about food? Is that all that she has to say about that day? Food, food, food. Why? There is a reason. We just have to find it. And we have to get the rest, let the rest of her statements bring us there. It has to come full circle, as it did with Danny Martell and his uh, the backpack, Lily's backpack being brown. And then he gets philosophical and talks about the muddy waters are all brown and you cannot see truth. By the way, lies don't rise to the surface. The truth does. He got it in reverse. Of course, when the truth rises, then you will see what the lies were. But in his case, he is worried about the lies rising, his lies becoming more obvious. So, needless to say, people want to know about what did Jack and Lily have on that day. That is a major avoidance on his part. A very blatant avoidance. Also with Malaya. They know there is no way they would have gone outside with whatever they had on. Because it didn't happen that morning. It happened the evening or night before. People keep asking about a pic Malaya supposedly posted of you, and Justin captioned two brothers working on a deck. I don't remember what. Do you know what they're talking about? What does that guy mean? He's still coming to collect to Malaya's brother. I don't know who that was. No, sure, I'll tell investigators. I've never seen that before. What's he referring to? This? Interesting, right? So he says they 100% did not have those clothes on. How the hell do you know, dude? How do you know if you don't know allegedly, supposedly, what they were wearing? You see, when somebody tells us not what somebody was doing or wearing, but what somebody is not wearing, that's also a sensitivity right there. Because what you would expect is some clarification. Saying, no, they wore this and that and this and that. But he wants to leave it at that. But make it 100% that this is not what they were wearing. Tell us more, dude. You see, avoidance. He doesn't want to say anything else. Good question. So the clothes they were wearing to bed were left behind. He says, I'm not sure if though if thought you meant I thought you meant clothes in that pig. Sure. Gets confusing now, right? What were they wearing? What was left behind? Avoidance. Look, he doesn't want to answer anything. Anything specific. That comment on that pig is alarming. Yeah, is he sidetracking now? I cannot see. Crap. Can you see that? But I'm sure it's nothing. Wait. Post all you want, Joe. I still coming to collect. Bye. I'll get back to it. That was to Malaya's brother. Yeah, they all have some shady friends, probably, man. They probably, there's a lot of shadiness in their lives, from what I've seen. So many rumors. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what Julie says. And Julie is completely on Daniel's side. I don't know who she is. Does she know him in person? Yeah, possible. Dare to back him up. Okay, it's alarming. Very alarming. Yeah, okay, okay. I'm not sure if thought you meant the clothes in the pig. Okay, now Christy. And you know what? Some of these people are there to back Benny Daniel up blindly, and they don't care if he did something or not. They support him anyways. But others are just how do I say it nicely? Maybe a little bit dumb and actually believe him or want to believe him. So once in a while the brain still kicks in, right? And they're like, oh, by the way, can you answer this for me? And they really think that he's going to be able to clarify it. And they want to be polite and say, oh, I don't mean to pressure you, but. And so they're asking a few questions here and there that actually make sense once in a while. Sorry, no, I was talking about the clothes they were wearing when they went to bed. Okay, where they left behind the clothes, and this is not a bad question either. So she's telling him, okay, so you said they didn't wear this. Okay, let's believe you. So whatever they went in bed in, were they wearing them when they went missing, or were those clothes left behind? You see, the beautiful thing, and by the way, because I pointed out inconsistencies in him being a hit and run kind of guy, I believe that he read my messages and rather than replying to me, he figures, okay, yeah, let me just write a lot about nothing. And let me be nice to Sunny because I pointed out to him, Sunny was on your side at the beginning, always, but you talked her out of it. And like I say, she has her way of getting these types of people to talk, which is also one, she has, yeah, that's her thing. She gets them to talk. Let's say it like that. Sorry, no, I was talking about the clothes they were wearing when they went to bed, were they wearing them when they went missing, or were those clothes left behind? And I love it when, people, even so, though they might be on his side or undecided, eventually some of them will say, you know what, let's clear this one up. What exactly are you saying, dude? Interesting. And coming to collect, yeah, didn't Henry Brooks, Malaya's father, get arrested for something? I don't know if her brother was into whatever. Uh, some Does her brother owe somebody? Yeah, I mean, surprise, surprise. Please inform the investigators right away about it. I think I've seen the comment before, but I don't think there's much. Police know about this already. If not, that would be alarming. If they don't, you know, check my channel or check what's being written there online. It sure is. I think most of you us thought you had already seen that post. I think he probably saw that post. I think I had already seen that post. So he's playing dumber because that's also avoidance right there. He's trying to overshadow the things he wants to avoid. That's when Derwood kicked in. You know, Derwood and his stories were only there to avoid Daniel having to answer important questions, only to sidetrack. And yes, the comment that you left that I thought you had removed, I was going to talk about Derwood. That's. I don't even want to get into that. I don't like to go into the obvious. It sure is. I think most of us thought you had seen a post that's been mentioned quite a while back. It was posted shortly after children went miss, after children witnessing. Yeah, autocorrect. Okay. I tried to get the camera footage from the day before, but investigators said they can't give witness evidence. What do you mean? The camera footage from the day before? You mean from the restaurant? You don't remember what they were wearing? But you are 100% certain that's not what they were wearing? What is accounted for and what isn't? Get busy, look through the clothing. No, he doesn't want to do that. He wants to avoid subject matter altogether. That's idiotic to say, I need camera footage from 3 p.m. the day before, or that day, the day they went missing, from that day. What were they wearing to bed, dude? But closer, oh my god, you see this? See, this woman is talking about what were they wearing that morning. They didn't go missing that morning, but that's a story Daniel and Malaya gave us and still give us. They don't move away from the script. They don't talk to each other directly, but they talk to each other through social media. They give each other hints. When Malaya said, do you think he hurt the kids? Belinda asked it. I don't know, but he looks guilty talking so much. That's her way of saying, shut the hell up. He's trying to put pressure on her, get some leverage, all of that stuff. But here's the thing, you don't need, this is his excuse. Major avoidance. I don't have they don't let me see the camera footage from 3 p.m., so I cannot tell you what they were wearing at 8 a.m. What nonsense. But then he gets even more direct, but closer, not of importance now. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. When they tell you what is not important, look deeper. Don't let go. Don't let go. The good thing is he talks so much. Even the people who supported him will say, okay, what are we going to talk about today? Well, let's bring up the one thing you haven't answered yet. Ask him these things about the clothing again and again and again. They would have been switched immediately, I imagine. What do you mean you'd imagine? You know what they were wearing. Because you're 100% sure, then tell us why you're 100% sure they didn't wear what was on the pictures. Then you can tell us, okay, because that's in the closet. It's still in my home. These are clothing items are still in my home. What is not in your home? You see, this is extremely important. Only important on the first day of disappearance. Well, that's what we're talking about. April. Didn't you say it was a pink shirt, I think, with hearts? And there it goes, which stress levels are so high, it's hard to remember. Hearts on backpack, pink shirt, yes, okay. Yeah, that's right. Pink shirts, I'm pretty sure. So they were wearing the clothes that they had slept in the morning, they went missing. Did Lily knew how to make something to eat? I already talked about this, right? It's stress levels. So, oh, I hope I got this all in the right order. Okay, can you tell us anything about the back road? Which one? The one behind the trailer further out, what your mom was talking about. Seems to me like that blanket was staged after you have searched that same area. This one behind the house is an old logging road, which goes up behind, back to cutovers, which was cut for logs many years ago. Yes, the blanket seems that way, but I have to watch what I say on it in here. So let me guess, you want us to think it's staged and it's not significant. Thus, the logging road has access to main road both sides. Daniel, do you know Joe Fernandez, the post that was up just there where Daddy O'Radek commented he was still coming to collect? Do you know either of those people or know of them? No access other than the one road that connects to Gerlock Road. Okay, I gotta look this up. Why do you have to watch what you say? Just say the truth. And if you didn't see it that morning, then maybe that morning you didn't go that way. I don't know. But the night before you did. And maybe you missed it. That's very possible. I know Joe not really personally. Is it a trail on the. Okay, nope. One way in and out. Okay. ATVs can go through, but lots of mud. There's the mud again. And trees down. Are you talking about the other side? I don't talk to Malaya's family or so called friends. Yes, the other side. Okay, so he didn't like her friends. These are the friends that she wasn't allowed to talk to because he told her probably they were bad influences on him and not really your friends, and I am the best that ever happened to you, but you need to cut these people out of your life and all of this. Do you think the police will have looked into. It's not important either, man. I'll have major crimes on it tomorrow. Talk about the clothing and the blanket, Daniel. Who's this? Stephanie said, Daniel Martell, I still believe you have nothing to do with their disappearances. And Kirsty says, same. And that's why these people are in the chat. What is that open area that your mom was standing in? But you see, what she's saying, I still believe, I still. She's indicating that she has doubts. Not, I know that you had nothing to do with it, but I still believe. As in, please help us continue to live in our dream world. Many people, they believe what they want to believe. And what they want to believe is very, very strong. The way you do anything is the way you do everything, more or less. Belief based people. Please don't disappoint us, Daniel. I'm still with you. Of course, he says, thank you, I appreciate that, I truly do. But listen to this, how he reacts to this, dare I call it compliment? He appreciates it, but that means forget what I just said. He can't appreciate it. Why? Here we go. Some people just need to blame someone, and I'm the easy target. There we go. Yes, he appreciates it, but really not that much, because it doesn't change the fact that the majority thinks he is involved somehow. And they notice that there are inconsistencies. And he knows that he's not believable, especially continuing to avoid the topic of the clothing and so on and so on. Now, he tells you why he's a target. Because I'm open to talking. No, no, you're not a target because of that. You're the target. You're not a target. You're talking, but you're not saying. You're not saying what you need to talk. You're not giving us answers. You're talking without giving us answers. That's the problem. Because I'm open to talking, and well, that makes me a target. 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 So be it. So be it. You just told us that you cannot enjoy the compliment of a couple of fangirls because not some people, most people, I believe, think you had something to do with it for a reason. You are not a target. We are not hunting you. We stay on you. We don't let you tell us that clothing is not important. We don't let you give us red flags, you know, piss on my head and tell me it's raining. And always the victim, the easy target. I'm the easy target. So be it. No, not so be it. You're the one who brings it up. And your long rambling to Sunny is worthless. Nothing new in there. You think just because you sit down for a couple of hours and say the same thing again and do a little bit better on the spelling, and one of you said, are you sure it's Daniel writing? Yeah, it's him writing it. But that's the Daniel that is concentrating and trying to make a really good impression rather than yapping and running around and hit and running as he usually does. So it comes off a little bit different, but it's still him. It's Daniel realizing he's being called out again and again and again, and he can't keep it up because even the people who supported him, they are now like, what the hell is he talking about? So it continues. I don't know if it'll be so exciting or what. Where's the old schoolhouse in relation to where the about 1.5 km away? So the lakes and waterfalls near your place was searched already. Okay, but he answers this one, right? Almost 1.5. It's pretty accurate here. Dive teams have did them, but now no water is left. It's dry. So the lakes and waterfalls near your house was searched. Okay, dive team set up. Classified technology has a range. Interesting. Wait, 1 second. What are we seeing here? His dad said about him being a tracker. The tracker beats me. I don't have a clue. Okay. That's not fair. Bobby Joe also. That people target you. That's not fair. I honestly feel Malaya doesn't either. I agree. I don't believe he had anything to do. Oh my god. This is. I still don't know exactly what group it is, but I'm sure I'm not welcome in there. I guess you can only be there if you are somewhat supportive of, or you can, not say anything. They probably kick you out if you ask the real questions, and then they say you're one of those people targeting him. Pretty sure. Can you hear the kids from the RV to the forts? Yes, you can hear them. The forts is not. It's not so too far. I was always with them there. Okay. Really? You were always with them there when they were. Hmm. And again, do you think it's not an abduction, meaning the individuals or parties involved knew the kids? Yeah, okay, 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 okay. It's not right that people can just make horrible accusations without any proof or evidence. Jesus, what a tragic chat group. So the last time you and Malaya saw Jack and Lily, okay, that means I know them, no doubt. I never saw Jack that morning. He's still going with the Derwood story, but you're not telling us anything specific, making a vague accusation towards somebody you think you know, but you don't want to call law enforcement and identify them or tell us. Yeah, right. With all your whining, you wouldn't pinpoint them? Did your mom definitely hear both kids? Okay. But the thing is, I'm forced to deal with the situation. I have no other choice. You got yourself into this. I never saw Jack that morning. Okay, the Lily. So what do you. Yeah, this is not so exciting, people. But I appreciate very much you sending me these. Yup, that's what makes me think Malaya doesn't know anything either. Some real geniuses here, man. Motive is unclear, but by the looks of it, trying to frame me, all the accusations are mounting. Right, it's a conspiracy against you, dude. That's why you're so deceptive. He's sticking to the claim he saw Lily. And what do you mean that morning, like the early morning hours when you gotten rid of both of them and you saw her backpack turning brown? Let me see again what he said about Jack. I never saw Jack that morning. Whenever you see never, that also could be a red flag. Also, I never saw the pink blanket. I never saw Jack. Not I didn't. I never. Doubling down, like Derwood saying the kids are 1000% alive, trying too hard. When somebody says 200, I hate it when people say 200%, 1000%, all of that. But that's usually language from people who are very deceptive in general and they need to exaggerate. They their language cannot stand on its own because it's full of lies. Mathematics does not is not based on opinion. There's no 1000% truth. There's no such thing as my truth. 2 plus 2 is 7. That's my truth. When facts don't add up for them, they want you to think about facts in a non factual manner. Wear you out and dumb you down to a certain level where you become open to accepting things that you had more questions about. That's his strategy. He's trying to keep the confusion going. And he needs you to stay confused. Especially the people in this chat here. It's painful to read this crap, man. So 8 a.m. No, that morning. Okay, I Do you have someone in your life besides Malaya or her family that would want to frame you for something like that? Oh my god, they're feeding into this, man. Yep. You see, these are the types of people that he is probably used to dealing with in his life. So when some of his stories are just so ridiculous, and you ask yourself, how can you be so self unaware? That's not possible. But the types of people he communicates with and deals with, most of them are probably very easily fooled. So when I listen to Janie, Logan, and Daniel, they got a bunch of dumbasses in their lives where they figure this is good enough. And they're actually thinking they're doing well. And they all feel very entitled to speak. They feel like they are doing really well speaking. Logan, especially. But remember with Logan, her first appearance on that live chat, right? On that TikTok live. That was before the article came out that CPS had been to the house before. And Logan, even though she thinks she is bright and arrogant, as she is too, in her own way, the way she talked about Malaya, she thinks they can control Malaya completely, and they were shocked that they no longer can control her. It's sort of like that enabler is gone for Daniel. And yes, many of you will call it narcissism, whatever. I don't like the overuse of the term, but you know, let me say parasitic people, when they don't have somebody to feed off, they become completely lost. In her statements, through her statements, I already knew there had been a very long ongoing issue with CPS, because she said he has proven himself again and again. That tells me two things. The CPS issue has been ongoing for a very long time. And the problem is Daniel. Daniel was what the problem was. She gave away so much. Remember, not my first analysis, but the second one. The second one is usually my favorite one. And I do those because I'm still thinking about it, and more it becomes clearer and clearer to me. So they're feeding into his conspiracy theory, right? What, children's playhouse? That building beside the RV with the ladder. What's that? Children's playhouse. Okay. Now here, that's cute. That playhouse was not there for Jack and Lily. Trust me, that was there for the grandchildren. Because whenever Janie talked about something that she got for for Lily, she actually within the same sentences told us she got it for the grandchildren, but Lily played with it when they were not there. Why? Did they tell her, don't play with this is hers, not in front of her? Okay, now you can play with it. They treated them like animals, man. That's how Logan saw them, animals. Is your mom sure she heard both kids? Yes, but CPS is accusations is as something to look at. What? What's he replying to? He's wearing me out, dude. My goodness. Mm-mm. Did Jack and Lily play there? Yeah. Yes, but CPS. Yes. Mom's sure. She saw. She heard. Okay. Kids and chickens sound different. Yeah, that's why she heard the kids because they didn't sound like chickens. Okay, so this person doesn't pay attention to details. Obviously, your original statement, Jack was seen in the kitchen. No, that was not the statement. But let's see what he says. When we both woke up, it's hard to remember if it was me or her. But I think she said, "Do you hear the kids?" He's changing the story back because Malaya reminded him, stick to the script, dude. And he realizes when he goes off script, which he does, of course, because he's angry with Malaya, he realizes it doesn't work to his advantage at all. It's a tough question because waking up from sleep, then your world changes on a dime. You forget things so small like that. Yeah, but you told us that you told her I don't hear the kids. Even though she said that she is the one who told you, not asked you, but told you, do you hear the kids? He went off script a couple of times on purpose. And that was supposed to be a message to Malaya, like saying, you better, help me out, or your word changes on a dime. So why did you do it? You knew what Malaya said. Why did you try to change it? That small, that small thing. But Janie said, look at Malaya for the answers, but he says, no, 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 let's leave Malaya out of it because he realizes, okay, I went ahead of myself a little bit here, and I make myself look even worse. So of course, it's so hard to remember, you know, he didn't do it intentionally, of course. Yeah, he did. He did it intentionally. But now his excuse is always, I can't remember. That's a good excuse. Remember with the clothing, you know. First, I'm not allowed to talk about the clothing. Then, when law enforcement didn't show it to me, then it's very hard to remember, and I'm so stressed. Always the victim, right? I'm so stressed. And then he's 100% sure it wasn't these pieces of clothing. And then he says clothing is not important. Oh my God, this dude, man. And now he wants to tell us this is just small things. Being dismissive. Forget about it, because I tell you to. His pattern, don't admit anything, but just try to discredit the issue. It's not important. Clothing's not important. Why I changed things around, not important. But that's a warning. That's a warning, basically. The indirect warning, I believe, Malaya sent to Daniel. Stick to the damn script. You make yourself look guilty. She knew these messages would read him. She knows that he's hanging on her every word. If something, whatever Malaya says, I don't know if he tries to get in contact with her. I don't know if he leaves her a bunch of messages. I have no. She blocked him, right? Okay, good. So, but he's trying to get to her. He's trying to communicate to her, but he realizes, me trying too hard, him trying too hard to do that, that's gonna backfire, dude. That's not in your best interest at all. So he is going against his own nature and backing off. Not easy for him, but he is doing it because he realizes, you know what? They got my nuts in a sling, and they he knows he is like on a very short leash here. He's learned. He's still learning. I have to hold back on some things because I don't want to harm the case. Yeah, yeah, yeah. What do you think Malaya meant when she said that you are telling the truth to police but lying to the media? Good question, actually, Michaela. Oh, yeah, Michaela is, I think, the one, she is not openly accusing him of anything. She's not, she's holding back, but she asks better questions than the others. So she's not just the average dumb fangirl. She's a little bit better in terms of, yeah, she has at least a little bit of intellectual curiosity. Let's say it like that. I feel like Malaya now knows where Lily and Jack are, and that is why she agreed to leave so quick. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, right. These people, and I'm telling you also, the best people to stay away from are people whose minds are made up about things that there is no evidence supporting it. Let me say this again. The best people to stay the hell away from in life, especially when it comes to criminal investigation, are people whose minds are made up about a theory without any evidence being present. When you go to Twitter and you talk about any criminal case, chances are you're going to witness a cesspool of wrong guesses. That's why I limit what I listen to, what I expose myself to. And this is as much as I can handle right now. But you see, I love it when I wish somebody would correct me, and because people, there's nothing more powerful than somebody. There's nothing more reliable and powerful than when somebody changes his mind, is forced to change his mind. When somebody says, you know what, let me re-examine what I thought. Let me later even identify why I may have been wrong about this or that. If you don't have that flexibility of mind, and I personally have a hard time understanding why anybody doesn't, but you know what? I talked about the Kruger-Dunning effect before, right? We cannot overestimate people's abilities. We need to tune out those who have nothing better to do than, you know, thinking. But the other thing is, these people will always be angry when you point out that they were thinking along the wrong lines. They will always be angry. Just like that woman who claimed to have seen Sebastian Rogers the day he this, so there, she saw a teenage boy with glasses, and he was probably, you crazy bitch. Sorry, but I'm not Sebastian. I told you. And she didn't let. Not only did she not let him go, and called police, from what I remember. Yeah, sorry about my language, but this is the way I look at it right now, man. Yeah, I'm not sorry about it. Sometimes you gotta say it how you see it, and and this is say, and then After that, even though police told her, listen, it's not Sebastian, it's some teenage boy wearing glasses, and it's not him. She still claimed to have seen him. She's angry because she's not being believed. So when these people think that they are the ones able to crack a case, and then are confronted back with reality, they feel like, okay, now I have nothing to say again. There are often people who feel like they have nothing to say in life, and they want to use a case. They don't care about Jack and Lily or Sebastian. They will post the green hearts to make it look like they do, and they will share whatever without commenting on it because they have nothing to add, but they want to make it look like that and hide behind that. But they want their theories to be heard. There's nothing wrong with being wrong. There's nothing wrong with speculating. There's not one thing wrong with your mind going into a direction that maybe is very pertinent to your own life, where you have made certain experiences and you think, okay, maybe I have something to add here. Let me bring up this possibility. If it's your own thought and your real thought, absolutely bring it up. And tell us why you think that, what speaks for it. But the moment there comes arguing, get the hell out of there. And people like that, I get the hell out of my chat too. Keep it, we are all on the same side. And the only side is figuring out whatever the truth is. Doesn't matter what the truth turns out to be. In statement analysis, you're completely flexible. You don't say, okay, I don't like Chris Proudfoot, he must have killed Sebastian. No, that's not where we go. But yeah, but he reminds me of my narcissistic ex. No. At that time, when he fell out of bed, that's not when Chris was there. But he told us later he was there. So these are people, for the most part, they live in their la la lands. And they don't want to leave their la la lands. They will barricade themselves in it. So if you have people like that in your life, don't discuss important issues with them. They will benefit from you arguing with them, but you will never benefit from it. There's nothing, even if you even if you so-called win the argument and you convince them, the next time another thing comes up, they will not change their pattern. It'll be the same crap again. I have to hold back. Okay, what do you think Malaya meant? That you're telling the truth to police but lying? Okay, so he wants Darren to say these types of things. He doesn't want to be the one. Very obvious. He doesn't want to look more full of shit than he already does. What do you think Malaya meant when she said that you are telling the truth to police but lying to the media? That's a very good question. Because when he talked to police, he stuck to the script. But in the media, he sends messages to Malaya. He's not playing along. He's being rebellious against their script because he's angry. He's hurt that she can leave him just like that. You know? When the virus loses his host, the parasite loses his host. Okay, he has to hold back. Yeah, sure. It'll harm the case. I mean, if I said everything, it's not fair if we want justice. What? If I said everything, he's telling you he has a lot to say. but it's not fair if we want justice. Yeah, yeah. Fair. And this person is fair enough. And again, there's never an accident in the language we use. Even when she says fair enough, that comes to her mind because he just said fair. We want Jack and. Oh my god. Now he inserts that, just like Malaya says, bring them home, I want them home. Something very meaningless, something very easy to just throw out these one liners. We want Jack and Lily found. And absolutely, Julie. Look, meaningless, a couple of hearts and a tear. Yeah, that's don't get fooled by people who are. Never mind. But don't get fooled by people who, you know, pretend to have true emotions. If you try too hard to show that you have emotions, then that can often indicate that you don't have the types of feelings you think you should have towards this case and Jack and Lily. People who try too hard to convince us that they're good people. They're using cases like this to convince others I'm a good person. And by the way, I have a theory, and out of all the people in the world, I'm the one who cracked the case. But it's my truth. You cannot argue with me. These are not the types of people who are going to be productive. And thank goodness, in my chat, in my comment section, that's aside from Sweetie Pie Lows, that's the only comment section I really like to read. That's the best thing that comes out of my videos. When I see that people are learning and people are questioning themselves, their own thoughts, not because I tell them to, but because as we learn and go along and gain more experience, we often revisit areas of our own lives where we realize, what about this? What signs did I miss? What opportunities did I miss? What red flags and warning signs did I miss? I talk about this oftentimes when people talk about, oh, narcissist. No, but when it comes to Sebastian Rogers, when they're obsessed with Chris Proudfoot and the PI, and then they talk only about their ex-husband, what he did to them. I always tell them, be careful with what you use. Don't start a chat group called Sebastian Rogers and make it only about yourself. 9 out of 10 posts, people talking about themselves. And then occasionally you see the green hearts. Meaningless, only self serving. Sebastian, yes, I believe some of you may have suffered under a husband who, however, Sebastian had no choice. Jack and Lily didn't choose Daniel. We need to separate these things when it comes to children. I can tell you about every thing. The red flags come very clear in retrospect the more you learn. They become clearer and clearer. We all make mistakes when it comes to relate. Well, some of you maybe not don't make mistakes. Some of you just have more, I don't know, intuition and wisdom than others and make better choices. But the thing is that these children had no choice. Malaya did. But she wanted to believe the Daniel that she first met. And she didn't stand up for herself, which is her business. But the fact that she didn't stand up for her children, that's everybody's business. Because even though you are in a crappy situation, you still need to draw the line somewhere and say, not my children. I know plenty of women who taken a lot of abuse. But the breaking point was when then the guy got drunk one day and he started to beat her children. And all of a sudden she became a woman. she went from victim to real woman. That's the way I look at it, and said, nope, I don't care what will happen to me, but you're not gonna hurt my kids. And Malaya has none of this. So I don't know if it has something to do with her. It's also very strange that Cody has never, I mean, that is really, really strange. And we don't want to overlook that. And I've overlooked it because Cody wasn't there. He's not a suspect. He had nothing to do with the disappearance. So, but the fact that somebody, doesn't have any interest whatsoever in his kids, none, that is very weird. So maybe that's also, I mean, again, there's no excusing what Malaya did and her covering up the wrongdoings of Daniel for years with the CPS, lying to them. That's why she's downplaying it and saying Daniel picked on Jack. Beat the crap out of him, but she calls it he picked on him. Oh my God, man, these kids had no chance, dude. They had two grown-ups who hated them and one who didn't give a crap about them at all. At all. No tears, nothing. She knows what happened. And yeah, absolutely horrible people. There's so much that I feel about this that will come out as I talk and certain things trigger it. And I try not to. I try to stick to this, to what's at hand. But holy crap, dude. Is there any chance you and Malaya can sort things out and get back together? Oh, these fangirls, man. Kirsty, you are so full of it. You are so full of it with everything that's coming out now. Why would Malaya get back with him? But it'll be interesting to see what Daniel says. Let me guess. No, I don't want to guess. I want to see this. What kind of, okay, pool was your mom planning? Yeah, I don't think he'll answer the pool question. He's probably thinking, you idiot, you really fell for this one? I don't know if I missed it. Let me just see where he replies next. Because if it's not the pool thing, then he's not going to get into it. I feel like all of this, why don't you think for a change? Yeah, he ignores the pool thing. Okay, now we can see what he's going to say. Oh my God. I guess these are women who think Daniel is so irresistible that Malaya will, think he's worth another shot. She broke free. Let's make no mistakes about it. She was like and again, she made her we need to separate this. Jack and Lily had zero choice. This is your new stepdad or whatever the hell you want, he may be. I use stepdad, of course, very loosely. He was not, the kids had no choice. She made the choice to be with him, right? Doesn't matter if, she's not very smart and she got tricked into it and still, the kids had zero choice. Zero. But she woke up eventually and she realized there's all these cops around. He cannot take my phone away now. He cannot hold me down. He cannot keep me from leaving. That's also why Janie, it was such a sensitive area for her. That's why she can go and she can pick him up and drop him off at work and then bring him his lunch and this. What the hell? She can use the car as long as she's his servant. Only nice thing she said about Jack and Lily, Maddow was happy to see them. But she didn't stick with that too long. But she is crying more for Maddow no longer having that smile on her face when Jack and Lily came around. Even though she doesn't see Maddow, but she realizes that Maddow no longer has that particular reason to smile. That made her cry. But Jack and Lily, what happened to them? They're animals to her. Her dog is talked about like a human being. Jack and Lily are being talked about like animals. And that's how Logan thinks about them. And yes, Logan thinks that Malaya is supposed to obey. But Malaya realized, wow, I'm actually free to leave now. Holy crap. And yes, I believe it was Cindy. Maybe he had to give her the extra push and say, you know what? If you are not going back there after all this back and forth, all of this. And that's what I suggested in the very beginning. That was an ongoing thing. And they tried to make it look like Malaya and her mother had zero contact. They were there 10 days before they went missing. They had constant contact. He didn't want them to have contact. That's why he made the claim, that he was the one. Or maybe he convinced her to have contact at one point, and then he realized, oh, I made a mistake because now they want, to encourage her to get the hell out. And he claims it was because Cindy was jealous and Cindy hated to see her do so well in life and wants to tear her down. She was doing so well in your trailer. They were all jealous. They were all hateful. They don't want anything good. They're all a bad influence. Daniel gets it in reverse, people. Okay. Let's see how he replies. And the pool thing, that's the goal of everyone in the province. We want Jack and Lily found. But he doesn't say I. He said we. He needs to include other people who truly want them found. He doesn't want them found at all. That's why it's easier to say we. And that's why he includes himself with people who actually care about Jack and Lily. The same way that Chris Proudfoot says us three parents, even Seth. He includes the innocent parent rather than talking about himself with the pronoun I, we. When people make themselves to be a part of a team, it's usually for protection. When people say, I'm green team, well, that doesn't make you any better. Who are you? Where do you stand? Being a team person first, unless it's sport or it's at work, and you have a great team and you benefit, there is a reason for you, there's always a payoff. Why do you need a team? Do you not have your own mind? Do you not have your own thoughts? Are they not important? Are you hiding behind somebody? That's exactly what it is. He feels the need to hide behind the team and include himself in a team that, cares about Jack and Lily and who may think they're still alive. And then they think a couple of hearts will, yeah, come on. But that's why you're closing your eyes to all the red flags. And who are you, Julie, anyways? Are you, I saw you in the Criming Shame chat, right? So are you a regular member there or a subscriber? Are you there because of Criming Shame? Or are you there because you said, Daniel, I come in there with you. I support you. Don't worry, I got your back, bro. Okay, let's see. My goodness, this case is some mess. That's the goal of everyone in the province, yeah. But not yours. And worldwide, yes, except three people, Malaya, Daniel, and Janie. Mom has a big pool, but the kids are not around this summer, so no point now. Not just Jack and Lily, but my kids too. Not just. Jack and Lily wouldn't be the reason to do anything good. That playhouse was not for them. Trust me. But where is the pool? Mom has a big pool. Where? Where is it? And so I guess the question was first about, do you think you and Malaya can get back together? Oh my god, these people. But you know, he doesn't want to talk about that one. Let's see. All the dirt around the RV. You are not scared it's going to cave in? Yeah, this is interesting also in a sense where people, well, they already gave up on getting answers and they're not really, I don't know, Bobby Joe, did I see your comments before? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's sometimes, no, he is not scared of that. He's not worried about that. He's a chaotic guy, dude. He doesn't care at all. I think we are closer because of all the information gathered. But day two is too long. The individuals that have them really have my hearts and deserve whatever, have no hearts and deserve whatever jail time they get. Who, Daniel? Who, Daniel? Who? You see, the whole Derwood thing, he wants to keep the distraction out there without, but avoiding to tell you day two is too long. What is day two? Sorry, can you guys maybe fill me in? They wouldn't even put Derwood on TV. And I knew that anybody paying attention to my videos didn't need me to point out the obvious there. But day two is too long. The individuals that have the individuals. Interesting choice of words. The individuals. Who are they, Daniel? You said you think you know them, right? Or you know them. Ah, crap, I forgot the exact wording. So why don't you name them? He is only smoke screening. He's saying as much as he can without being cornered and asked specifically. He's keeping it vague enough, and then he says, I cannot talk about it. He's a hit and run kind of guy. Even though he spent hours putting together that long form thing about, I pointed out that he is a hidden runner. But you're still the hit and runner. You write a little bit longer now, not just the one liners. But that's what he does. One line, back off. One line, back off. And don't answer anything else. That's his style. That's his pattern. The way you do anything is the way you do everything, overall, generally speaking, mostly. But day two is too long. The individuals that have them really have no hearts and deserve whatever jail time they get. Who are they? And what is day two? And what about Malaya? Do you think Malaya knows where they are? Good question, good question, good question. Very good question, because he is, again, he is the fabricator of realities, right? At this time. So at least Michaela, without, like I say, if I was in there, they would kick me out immediately. Because the questions I would ask would be, you know, I wouldn't sweet talk. I would just, not accusatory, but just very direct questions I would ask. But some people have a way of sort of presenting themselves as, I'm on your side, I don't know anything. But let me ask you the right questions, anyways. Let me hold your, how can I say this without using certain language that some of you may not like? Uh, your nuts in the fire. Let me hold you to it. Let's play your game, Daniel. Let's play along with you, okay? You said Malaya didn't do it, but somebody you know, and it was this whole, okay, good questions. Like, what kind of person or people destroy a kid's future? Very general, right? Videos are on the internet forever. My kids will see all this and say, Dad, what the F are all these people going on about? Jack and Lily will see all this and none of it is their fault. It's sickening. Okay, you see again, similar to when Chris Proudfoot talked to us about, yeah, this is about Sebastian. If uh, let's not talk about the people who did it. Let's talk about Sebastian. In other words, you're not on Sebastian's side if you look at the suspects. Makes no sense. Same message. Jack and Lily. First, he says, okay, what kind of persons or people destroy a kid's future? He's not thinking about Jack and Lily. He's thinking about his own children. He's saying, you're hurting my children with what you say about me. Videos are on the internet forever. My kids, you see, my kids, not Jack and Lily. He's thinking about his own children. The tears from Janie were not about Jack and Lily at all. Videos are on the internet forever. My kids will see all this and say, Dad, that's what's coming clearer and clearer to him. That's why he's trying now to talk his way out of it with these long form messages, because he wants people to stop. And now he's telling us exactly why. His intention is damage control. And I believe you when you send to me your conversations with a person who, you know who you are. Police doesn't know how to move forward. They know what happened, I believe, but the evidence, where is it? It's been too long. Even if they know where on the coast Daniel got rid of them, are they going to find anything? The blanket they found. But other than that, the boot prints, yeah, I've gotten into this. My kids will see all this and say, Dad, what the F are all these people going on about? I think the kids are being filled in by other children who hear their parents say things at home. And that's why your ex wife is saying there's no way you're going to come around here and make it even worse with your presence. And I'm pretty sure she has a lot of suspicions. Everybody's innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. Everything I'm stating is my opinion only. Jack and Lily will see. Then they always do that. Him and Janie, they talk about their kids and grandchildren, and then, oh, by the way, last and least, not last but not least, but last and least, Jack and Lily will see all this, and none of it is their fault. It's sickening. If you talk about me, you're hurting Jack and Lily. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. If you care about Jack and Lily, leave me alone. You're destroying my kids' future. This has nothing to do with your kids. It has to do with you taking responsibility. That you want to avoid. And now you're the victim and your children are the victim of your own actions. That's why he keeps fighting. He realized one day his kids will have nothing good to say about him, especially Maddo. Maddo about her two biological half-siblings, Jack and Lily, whom she loved. There's a good chance his kids want nothing to do with him ever again. There's a very good chance. They hear. Remember the interview with Yellow, the guy from the Caribbean cruise, with Amy Bradley? His daughter also wants nothing to do with him. Nothing. But that's a different case. I'll get more into later. I can't speak for Malaya in any way. I don't bash her anymore. I'm not saying anything bad. Do you think Malaya knows? That's the question. Is he answering to that one? Or is he answering if him and Malaya can get back together? I don't bash her anymore. He makes this very clear, and I think he hammered this into his brain. Don't bash Malaya, don't bash Malaya, don't. Okay, okay. He wants to. Maybe Logan talked some sense into him. Maybe he said, "Yeah, but I need to." Maybe somebody said to him, "Shut the hell up, shut the hell up," because you're gonna push her into saying something eventually. I'm not saying anything bad. Well, does she know where the children are? According to your story. That's, your nonsensical story, Daniel. It's your nonsensical story that you introduced. Okay, let's play your game. Let's make sense out of it. Great question, Michaela. I don't know who you are, but I would love to be your Facebook friend. Do you think Malaya knows where they are? So, Michaela, send me a friend request on Facebook if you find me, if you want to. Do you think Malaya knows where they are? Good question, man. I love those questions. They're like, okay, Daniel, okay, let's forget everything that I know. According to you, let's go down your train of thought and let's follow it. And by that, you can easily point out when somebody is full of it. That is a very good way of letting somebody know that you know without being accusatory. You just ask questions. Okay, so let's follow your the track you want to take me down on. You said before, Malaya, 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 Janie also. Okay, so do you think she knows? No, I can't speak for Malaya in any way. I don't bash her anymore. The question was, do you think she knows? Not does she know? And if you really thought she knew, it wouldn't be anything bad to point this out if this is for Jack and Lily. But I hope she doesn't know anything that would make me happy. Okay, so he doesn't want to take away too much of what he previously said. Because he can't handle the pressure of people looking at him and only at him. That's why he wants people's minds to still consider certain things without him committing to anything. Ui, what message was it? I know, but some people want me to. What did you reply to? I don't know what he replied to here. Maybe it'll come to me. Do you think you're making, do you believe? Like, what kind of person? Somebody like you. You are a very destructive person, Daniel. And you hurt these kids very much. Not just physically, but also their future in general. They didn't, these were not stupid kids. They were very active, talkative, very positive children, despite of the crap that they lived in. And you admitted it by saying, well, and so Cody, they had a great life with Cody. That was your question, rather than answering about how horrible their lives were under you. Your message as well, it wasn't good with Cody either. So don't look at me. I'm not going to all avoidances here. And he knows what kind of person destroys a child's future. Every time he looks in the mirror, he can see one. No regard. Yes, I'm sure your childhood wasn't that great, Yes, I'm sure that you, probably felt like you were held back in life a lot, and drugs were your escapism, and so on and so on. Yeah, I'm sure that you have a justification because you were the victim yourself, right? Maybe your dad beat you, who knows? I'm sure that your yelling mom didn't have a positive influence on you either when you were growing up, Daniel. I'm pretty sure hearing that voice all day, a micromanaging mother that still stands there and watches you put the trash in and criticizes how you do it, she was probably nagging the whole time about Jack and Lily. It must have been a house of horrors, man. And you're probably desensitized. You grew up with it and you think it's normal. And you think beating the crap out of Jack and Lily is normal too. Yeah, I'm sure you do. What kind of person destroys it? Nice words, bro. You. You. You don't want your children's future destroyed. But other people's children, you have no care in the world about. Videos are on the internet forever. You mean evidence that you were abusive? Whose videos? My videos? Is that what you and your friends are worried about? I'm only using your words. I'm only telling you what you are saying, what you're really saying, and why you are saying it, what your intentions are. I'm not saying anything bad. Okay. Well, that's not a good thing either. She asked you if you think Malaya knows. Would it be bad for. No, you don't even want to go there. You just want to throw crap out. Okay, bros. But I hope she doesn't know anything that would make me happy. Yeah, very positive, Daniel. Don't answer if it makes you uncomfortable. Trust me, if it makes him uncomfortable, he won't answer it. Some people drama seek. Yeah, exactly. No, I don't. I don't seek drama. And I don't even like the word drama because it's being used to give too much credit to the stupidities that people spew under the pretense of caring about two missing kids. But I hope she doesn't know anything that will make me happy. I know, but don't answer if it makes you. So he's being dismissive. He's not telling people they're wrong. He's dismissing it as drama. I'm almost done, people. There'll be one more after this one. Yeah, it's weird that the back door was closed that morning. I remember reading that you said you always had to remind the kids to close the back door. Uh huh. All the dirt around the RV, and you're not scared it's going to cave in? Yes, kids usually left it where it wasn't closed all the way. Hell, even if do it. What? Kids usually left it where it wasn't closed all the way. What the hell is he talking about? Can you guys, somebody explain to me what you think he may be talking about? I know you can read this well. No, the banks should be fine. It's dry and hard with no rain. That's a good thing. Any problems with it when it rains? No, my son liked to push dirt and rocks down it. Do you use the dirt to fill the potholes from that mess? Oh, okay. The potholes, huh? Bobby Joe. Mom rakes the dirt, but it's so dry now. Spring, you could rake, but summer, what? Oh, in May you could. What? When it's rainy, you rake it? Nice excuse again. Sensitive area. She had to rake in the middle of the night. But I already talked about this. I don't want to, you can see in my older videos. We had tons of potholes in the driveway, just like yours. We were always filling in. We had the same wall as you were. I like to use gravel, but no rain, no potholes. Daniel Martell, How do you feel about that ex-police officer, also named Daniel, looking into this case? Yeah, I don't know who that guy is. I know it's. I know that. Let me see. Sorry, I'm not sure if this was asked. Was Jack actually hurt in the morning or only Lily? Is it possible Jack wandered off the night before and Lily went looking for him in the morning? Okay, well, this is not something I believe, but I also find it interesting when somebody like Michaela actually, you know, let's ask again in a different manner. He told us Jack was hurt, Lily was seen, but I don't mind if people ask the same thing again. And I think that she is playing a role here. I could be wrong about this one, but I think that she comes off to me like somebody who suspects but plays along and sort of, you know, plays him at his game. I talked him. Okay. What was the question? Summer we were fine, but rain season we were not. Our driveway flooded with water. Okay. That's awesome. I hope he can give some insights. He seems like, okay, great. I heard Jack in the kitchen when Lily poked her head in the room. He's sticking to the script. Yeah, if Daniel says you're a good guy, then I chances are you're not gonna have a lot to say. And there's a reason I skipped that particular segment on crime and shame. We want Jack and Lily found. Absolutely. Is there any chance you and Malaya? Did I cover this or oh crap, man? So thank you very much for watching, everybody. I guess this is it for now. I am Firetown. You know my email. I'm. Listen, guys. If you want to send me anything, oh, I'm reading some new messages right now. Interesting. Interesting, guys. Thank you. Okay, I will be back very soon. I just got some information here, and please leave me a comment. Let me know what I missed. Okay, let me know if there's anything. Like I said, I don't have time, and not always willing to watch a lot of other stuff unless it's a reason for me to. Um, so please go ahead and if you send me um, a video, again, sometimes it's 4 hour videos, lives. Sometimes they are 3 hours and 59 minutes that I cannot use. But that 1 minute, if it's there where something interesting happens, let me know, right? Because as I've said before, sometimes they have something, they have one thing, and I'm not going to sit through a 4 hour thing to get something that's of importance. And it can be of great importance. So please always let me know the timestamp and maybe a little bit about, you know, what I'm, what the reason why you're sending it to me. That makes it easier for me to get to it. And so, as far as, Daniel, you haven't changed my mind. You have written all of the stuff. The only thing that you have told us is that, you're doing it for damage control. You're worried about your so called legacy. The fact that your children are now going to look at you very differently. The concern is for your own children, not for Jack and Lily Sullivan. And talk me out of it. You know, every statement I'm looking at, every time I'm looking at a new case, I'm assuming they're going to tell me the truth, but I allow you to talk me out of it. And every single time you talk me out of it more and more, you convince me more and more. I want a reliable denial from you. Daniel, did you have anything to do with the disappearance of Jack and Lily? Please pass this on. I don't care what chat you catch him in. Daniel, did you have anything to do with the disappearance of Jack and Lily? Simple questions. Been asked. No reliable denial from him. I want to see his answer. Send me whatever answer he gives us. He gives you. And then think about what else you can ask him. Some open ended questions. I want to see how he starts so I can check it for plates, priorities, leakage, avoidance, intentions, deception, and sensitivities. Ask him some open ended questions. The problem is in these chats that there are a lot of stupid questions, and he picks those to answer, the easy ones. He needs to be cornered. Daniel, remember, you see, now he at least acknowledges the question about the clothing because he cannot avoid it. Daniel, who put the blanket into the garbage? Daniel, when was the blanket put into the garbage? Was the blanket inside of a garbage bag when you opened it? When police looked at it? What was the video? Why did you take a video of showing the blanket? Did you rip the garbage bag open and take the blanket out of it? Or was there a ripped open garbage bag and the blanket next to it? Ask details. I may miss some future lives with him because I am not going to be censored. And if somebody who's hosting it says you have to be nice to him, no, I'm not being not nice, but I will ask the same questions again. And I don't necessarily believe in a tactic of being too nice to get somebody to talk, because all you're going to get is a long writing about some things, without saying anything. So there's a, yes, it's good to be, uh, you don't want to have this mob mentality. And I disagree completely with people who make so-called nasty comments, even though I believe these nasty feelings are justified. But it's not my style, anyways. That is the bad cop style, right? Those are the rookie cops that say, I know you did it. That's not helpful. You have to ask very specific, open-ended questions, but you cannot let him play his game. So when you're too nice, then you're going to get these 2-hour messages that tell you absolutely not a new thing, nothing new. So that wasn't useful to me, which is why I missed it. I would have liked to been, but I didn't miss it intentionally. But now I'm thinking that maybe no, we need, if you ask a question, make it one where you go into areas of avoidance. Whatever Daniel has avoided in the past, revisit that. And you can ask the same question in a different manner, because you don't want to give him the chance to say, well, I cannot talk about it, law enforcement. Then ask it a little bit different. Ask a little bit less, if you will. Ask it in a way that he, you know, make it harder for him to claim he cannot talk about it. Beat around the bush a little bit, but get Right back to it. Work your way into it. All of the things he's avoiding. If I show up in a live chat where Daniel is commenting, I hope to see some of you there maybe and ask these questions as well. I will ask him. I will go there. And I don't care if you block me or what from your channel because I'm not, you know, accusatory. I'm not, it's simply not my style. I don't have anything to be apologetic for or feel bad about because I'm searching for the truth. And whatever the truth may turn out to be, is what I want to find. And I thank you for watching. I'm looking forward to your comments. Also, one of you who comment on that channel as well. Let me see a comment. I'm getting a comment right now. Dan says the light is by the door. Completely unnecessary information. Yeah, nobody asked about the lights. Okay, at approximately for about my last video. It's for my last video. At approximately 46 minutes mark, Daniel says the light is by the door. Completely unnecessary information. Yep, it is unnecessary information. Absolutely. Nobody asked about the lights. There's usually no need to ask about the lights. They are almost always by the door. Yes, absolutely. It wouldn't be fit for purpose if you had to be all across a dark room to light up the room you have already traversed in the dark. Yes. Alluding to doors and lights, unprompted is correlated with SA, as are black eyes. Well, I don't want to get into this. I haven't. There is a reason he mentioned the lights being by the door, and that is probably to tell us he wasn't in the room, which can indicate he was in the room and something happened in the room that he doesn't want to tell us about. This is absolutely correct, and this is the kind of reason why I love reading through the comment section now. Don't rush, trust your instincts. Yep. Some guilty individuals feel the need to over-justify their actions or provide a lot of unnecessary information to try and convince others of their innocence. Why I mention this is because DM is saying it is not a criminal investigation. Because any half-intelligent person would realize they are looking at all possibilities. As RCMP said this publicly, DM is being played by... yeah, they want to keep him talking. Guevara. Thank you for the comment. They want to keep him talking. I have no doubt. And I have no doubt they may have also lied to him when it comes to the uh, results of the polygraph. Yeah, you done good. Good boy. Get out of here. And keep on talking. But again, thinking about it now, I don't think it's the messages he sent, We don't want to give him the opportunity to ramble for hours. What we want to is ask the important questions again and again if he doesn't answer them. And even though he will try to avoid, he will avoid it in a different manner. And eventually he's going to give us a lot more where we will be able to tell exactly which part of the ocean he went to. Daniel, where's your favorite fishing spot? Ask these kinds of things. Where do you like to go fishing? Daniel, where are the waters the muddiest? Daniel, what is it like to go fishing in muddy waters? Bring that up. Bring up anything that is a sensitive area. What time did you go to bed? And Malaya, no answer. What do they normally sleep in? No answer. Yep. He's obviously uneducated, to say the least. Did Lily wear the shirt that was found on Dana's vehicle with her coat? Malaya doesn't know what the children wore for bed. She doesn't? Yeah, I don't remember. but he needs to be asked. But I don't think she will answer. Yeah, maybe if she doesn't know, I mean, Malaya's Google Maps she sent in said they got home around 3 or 3:15. Really? I thought it was 4. Oh, really? Huh. I didn't know that. I'm catching it. Yeah. What kind, what person could sleep at those times if kids came in room? Meadow is like 50. If they cannot produce their children, they. I see the word trip in Daniel's response as something planned. Huh. Yeah, when was that? Remind me of when he said the term trip. Thursday night, something happened. I agree. It's really weird that Sun is lecturing everybody in the behavior when she was. This. Yeah, don't worry about. You see, here's the thing. A lot of you guys watch channels that I wouldn't watch, and you send me, and you bring me the highlights the same way I will watch channels that maybe I don't want to watch, or maybe you don't want to watch, or maybe some things, so I can bring you the important parts. That's what I do. So I'm only going to where the real information is, and sometimes you can find it on an unexpected channel because somebody sends something to the person because they feel comfortable with that person. That's really what it's all about, and they feel like, and so, but don't. When people tell you you need to watch this, really, why? Okay, what am I listening for? That is very important. So, when you see the comment section, I always I judge a channel by its comment section. I really do. So that's why I feel like I'm on the right path when I see my comment section. So when I first came into Sweetie Pilo's channel and I saw the comment section, I said, wow, this is the first time I see a comment section that doesn't make me sick when it came to the case of Sebastian Rogers. This is pretty good, actually. So the people who listen really reflect who you are. And if you're able to get something out of the comment section, then, there's a good chance that there's going to be some real information because people who are good commenters, they're not going to waste time on some BS. Let's see what else. At approximately 40, I read this already. I'm catching alive. Mike just thought of something. Dennis said that two of his sweaters were missing, a dark blue and blue one and a tan color. The inconsistency between Malaya saying that Jack wore dark colors and Daniel said Jack wore is even more interesting. Lots of focus on that driveway. Deflection on Thursday evening. Many details. They woke up, didn't hear the kids, proceeded. I don't know. If Daniel were truly. One moment. Thank you for the nice things you guys, some of you are saying. Absolutely. I'm doing it the way that I would like to listen to it. Because in the Sebastian Rogers case, I got to the point when uh, you know, Mike, when Peter Hyatt wasn't doing it anymore, I felt like, now I got another message. I feel like, be the media. Don't hate the media, be the media. YouTube won't let me like your video. It keeps doing this. Really? I don't know. Are you logged in? Why does Daniel feel he has to? And by the way, thank you to Julia, Krista, Maxine for the moderating. Thank you so much for doing this. Yeah, why does Daniel feel he has to type this much detail regarding May 2nd? Is there something he didn't report to the RCA? Because he doesn't want you to think about the night before. He wants you to only think about that. And of course, I'm getting comments like, I'm not even I'm not even gonna read it, man. And where do people get this that I'm giving Malaya a pass? This is, I've explained it in my last video why I focus on Daniel. And in the beginning, I focused on both equally. Never does not mean ever. Had a phone. Okay, my cell phone was on the end table in the room, so I never had it the whole time. Really? Did she say that? The room, a room of importance that needs to be explored. So, answers a question that was never asked. That's true. Never does not mean ever. So I never had the phone. It is ambiguous and replaces the subject, his phone. There are many times in a day. The whole time is specific and singular. Which other time did he have a phone? If Daniel didn't have it the whole time, then was he using another phone another time? Speculating. Was Daniel in possession of his uncle's phone, Janie's brother's phone, Friday morning? I don't know. Did Janie's brother call any other time that day? Did he show up to help look? In my opinion, it would be worthwhile for the RCMP to check the GPS of Janie's brother's phone from April 30th to the afternoon of May 2nd. Just my opinion. Good comment, man. I saw this on my last video. You can find it there. Let me see, 804.
How to get to MedX Neo Laboratory.
Sorry, one moment.
No. Right. My cell phone was on the end table in the room, so I never had it the whole time. Oh.
My cell phone was at the end table, the room. The whole time, as in the night he removed Jack and Lily, in my opinion. Listen to this, people.
I checked culverts along with the dirt roads to along the way. I might add. I might add.
Okay, interesting. One moment. Let me put this on my screen. Janie Doe. And this is a reply to my video called Asked What Jack and Lily wore to bed. Daniel gives 3 different answers. That's the name of the video that this was in reply to, and I just pinned it to the top. Not that I agree with every part of it, but every part of it is worth looking at. One moment. See, I love reading your comments, and I love it even more doing it here with you guys. They woke up, didn't hear the kids, proceeded from bedroom to kitchen, looked into the living room, ran to check under the beds, ran to the kitchen again, put on his shoes, proceeded to the, yes, all unnecessary detail, proceeded to the backyard and went around the fence. And at that point, Malaya asked him if she should call 911, and she does immediately. All this panic and presumption that they are already missing before he even checked where they play often, the cabins in the woods. I find this concocted story to be a huge red flag from the get-go, let alone the rest of the narrative. It does not make sense. If this is a lie, the whole thing is a lie, in my opinion. Yup. I don't know, investigators would tell me, even though they were seen the day before on camera, could have been switched before bed too. He is saying he wasn't in town when Jack and Lily Thursday. In his CBC interview, he said they were in town. And Jack and Lily. Okay, so let me also get back to this later. That's what I normally do, by the way. That's when I pin something, it's oftentimes because I want to get, spend time on it later. Sunset was 8:36 p.m. Okay. In my opinion, Dana says he flipped the light switch at midnight Thursday night. Da, 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 da. What did Daniel do for 4 hours after he finished helping Janie with the fans at 8 p.m.? As he said, he went into the trailer as it was getting dark. He didn't go to bed until after midnight. Yeah, good question. We want to know. This is the kind of question that he needs to answer. So, if you are in certain chats where he shows up and I'm not there, just ask him what you need to feel first of all, you need to feel comfortable with what you're asking. And don't ask a question until you yourself want to know. So I make sure to let you guys know why certain questions are important to me, and I would like to see them answered or hear them answered. Videos of Jack at the water. The picture shows both children looking at water. Are the videos and pictures of Jack and Lily by water another leakage of the continuous use of water? I don't know about this particular part, water, but there's a lot of water references. Okay, here is the comment.
The end table in the room. So I never had
Wait.
it the whole time. My cell phone was on the end table in the room. So I never had it the whole time.
My cell phone was at the end table, distancing. So I never had it the whole time. Is there more? No. Oh, is that one moment? My cell phone was at the end table in the room, so I never had it the whole time. I have just pinned it to the top so you guys can find this comment easily. Um, One moment. My cell phone was on the end table in the room, so I never had it the whole time. Yeah, I didn't need to listen to this. She got the whole sentence, or he, yeah, she, Janie Doe. Okay, the room, a room of importance that needs to be explored. In the room is unnecessary. My cell phone was on the end table. In what room? And why is that room important? So, answers the questions that was not asked. Yep. What point are you trying to prove? And remember, Janie all the time. So, remember, that's her favorite thing. She likes to go back to questions that she remembers reading because for 2 months she had been avoiding contact with the public. And she is a talker. It was not easy for her. She's not the quiet type like Malaya. She broke her own pattern by force. She had to force herself to stay away. Why? Because she wanted things to go away. She wanted all of this to go away on its own. And the same like with Sebastian Rogers, where Chris Proudfoot cannot understand why anybody would care about Sebastian and is convinced that if we knew him, we wouldn't care. You see, this is a surprise to her that people out there care about Jack and Lily or are interested in the case. It's a big surprise to her. And finally, she feels this will not end on its own. So she goes on, and what she spews is the venom that she had in her for 2 years against Jack and Lily, but also the people who get too close information wise, ask too many questions. So answers a question that was never asked. True. What question is he answering? Never does not mean ever had a phone. I didn't have the phone at a specific time. Makes more sense. He says the whole time. He wants to cover everything with this one comment. I guess I do need to see what preceded this comment. Second thought, I can't believe how long I've been going already, guys. I can't believe it. Never does not mean ever. Because the first hour, yeah, I covered a lot of plays. And then I moved very slowly. But once I get into it, man. It is ambiguous and replaces the subject. His phone. Never does not mean ever had a phone. It is ambiguous, yes. So I never had it the whole time. Well, the phone, you didn't have it. You should have told us I didn't have the phone the whole time. But my cell phone was at the end of the table, so I never had it referencing the phone. There are many times in a day. The whole time is specific and singular. Which other times did he have a phone? Right. If Daniel didn't have it the whole time, then was he using another phone another time? Speculating. Was Daniel in possession of his uncle's phone? Okay. It would be worthwhile for the RCMP. Yeah, I don't know what they did, how much checking they have done. But what is the whole time? Give me the frame. You want us to believe it was all covered, but I also believe you that your cell phone at that part during the night when Jack and Lily were removed, I do believe there's experiential memory kicking in towards that time as well. I believe that you made sure not to take your phone with you, at least not your regular phone. I believe it was at the end table. In that room? What room? In the room where Jack and Lily were being hurt? Had been hurt? In that room? The whole time that you were out there on the ATV removing Jack and Lily? After, in my opinion, first moving them to the cabin? Because you said you ran through the cabin to the kids. I believe you forgot some things at the house, like the boots and the backpack, which is why you so proudly mentioned and made it so important, the boots and the backpack, because you're proud of yourself. You remember to take those items. Yep, they had their boots and their backpack. The reason that he emphasizes, yep, you cannot tell me that I forgot those. I forgot the coat and I forgot the shirt, which is why my mama, my stupid ass mama, put it right there on the truck for everybody, on the car, for everyone to see, because she wanted to send me a message. Look, you forgot. Look what you forgot again. I gotta do everything here. I gotta think for you, and then you overfill the trash, and and these kids are always, oh my God, can you imagine? Why you think her dog is depressed? You know, her dog is crazy too. He had crazy eyes. Seriously. And I don't mean it's not the dog's fault. I do believe that dogs really reflect their owners. And this dog would have had a lot more fun playing a lot in the yard with the kids. But she wanted this dog for herself. That poor dog is still stuck there in the house with her. And I don't care what anybody says. Animals, they pick up on vibes and emotions. Why was the dog barking when he heard Jack and Lily? Maybe he wasn't disturbed by them. Maybe he wanted to go out and play with them. Maybe that was something that he would have loved to do. But you see, when he talked about the search time, yeah, I believe he didn't have it the whole time that he went out there and removed them. But you see, now it's already been a long time since I started this. And this time, I make sure I say goodbye to you. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for the chat. Thank you for your comments. I love the comments. They're getting better every time. And that is very, very important to us to keep the section clean, away from the types of comments you may see on other channels, which of course, reflects the type of so-called content that the people willingly expose themselves to. So now I am going to invite you to add to these comments, add your own thoughts. Let me know what you think. I'm Firetown. I am firetown@gmail.com is my email. To those of you who have emailed me important information, I thank you tremendously, and I will see you as soon as I can. Goodbye.